Welcome back to All Things 80s and welcome to Christmas 1984. In 1984, the number one toy for Christmas that year were the Transformers. Now, these were a wonderful thing to have at the time. It was very different, very unusual to have basically a two-in-one toy where you had either, vehicle, be it a car, truck, plane, or even a tape recorder, and you could actually change it into a robot. Very, very popular. And 84 in the UK was when they were first introduced. So there wasn't a huge variety. And as I mentioned last time, I wanted the Optimus Prime the following year, and it was impossible to find. It was completely sold out. But certainly around the world in 1984, Transformers were the number one toy. So aside from Transformers, let's take a look to see what other toys were available for Christmas in 1984. So starting as always with the electronic games, they're pretty much the same as they have been, in previous episodes. However, there are some great looking car games with Knight Rider and Dukes of Hazzard. Very much similar stuff with the board games. Crossfire is definitely something I would have liked, along with Tank Command. Those look pretty cool. Now, this was the height of Lego's classic space series, in my opinion. This was when they were doing tons of new sets. These toys, chemistry set, electronic set, always of interest. There's a Bullseye set, you can't beat a bit of Bully. Of course, the BMX, classic 80s mode of transport. We've got the Dukes of Hazzard, Speed Jumper, Stunt Busters, Evel Knievel, wonderful stuff there. A bit of Action Man as well. Now we've got the A-Team, the Galoob A-Team, and there we have some Knight Rider toys again, and the walkie-talkies. Now here's when Masters of the Universe really took off in the UK. Obviously the first sort of wave there. The Transformers, as I said, hadn't really taken off in the UK, so there was very limited supply available. Classic Action Force and Star Wars was riding high at this point with a ton of vehicles, packs of figures you could get. Really, really great selection, although by 84 I was kind of done with Star Wars. As always, the girls' stuff we kind of skip over. Nothing of any interest here. And that really it. So those were the toys available for Christmas in 1984. So Christmas 1984 was a wonderful, wonderful Christmas for me. I remember getting my first ever record player, in fact, my only ever record player, but it was a hi-fi, but back then we called it a music center. You had the turntable, cassette player recorder, and AM, FM radio. Now to go with that, I also got Duran Duran's live Arena album, and for some reason I was given Wham's Make It Big album. Don't know why. I never really cared for Wham. And also a compilation called Hits, which at the time I didn't really care for, but looking at the track listing, it pretty damn good compilation. Now also that year, I remember getting the Dukes of Hazzard Speed Jumpers set, which was a fantastic toy, which I'd reviewed last year, having acquired another one. Brilliant, brilliant toy. I also remember that year getting a lot of Action Force figures because I had stopped collecting Star Wars. So all in all, I just have great memories of 1984, and I especially enjoyed getting my own record player. And that way I didn't have to keep using my mum and dad's if I wanted to listen to my 7-inch singles that I used to buy back then. So yeah, great time in 1984. BBC One, Christmas Day, and things came alive at 8 a.m. with pages from CFAX. Now, if you don't remember or don't know what CFAX is, it was basically almost like the first ever internet where if you had a CFAX TV, you could punch in page numbers and get, pages of information and whatnot. So I guess they were sort of giving you a preview of what you were missing out on if you didn't have a CFAX TV. Anyway, 8:40, Play School, it's Christmas Day. 9 a.m. was The Buskers' Christmas Story. And this is the second of 3 episodes. Okay. 9:15, we got Born in Bethlehem. 10:05, it was the Christmas morning family service. Then at 11:03, we had the weather. And at 11:05, who but Noel Edmonds. And it was the Noel Edmonds live Christmas breakfast show. 12:35, Blue Murder at St. Trinian's. Okay. And at 2 o'clock, we had the Top of the Pops Christmas special. And I do have the lineup here. So this episode featured Culture Club, Jim Diamond, Duran Duran, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Howard Jones, Nick Kershaw, Thompson Twins, Wham, and Paul Young. And if I remember correctly, they did a live rendition of Do They Know It's Christmas in the studio. And if I remember correctly, there were a few of the stars who couldn't be in the studio, so you had other pop stars miming the lines for the people that weren't in the studio. It was very strange. Anyway, 3 o'clock was the Queen's speech. 5:10, the movie was Mary Poppins. 5:25, we had the news with Jan Leeming. Remember her? 5:30 was Christmas Blankety Blank. And this was hosted by Les Dawson. I always remember Blankety Blank being hosted by Terry Wogan. But anyway. 6:05, Heidi High. 6:35, the Paul Daniels Magic Christmas Show. Always remember watching that. 7:25 was a Just Good Friends special, starring Paul Nicholas and Jan Francis. I vaguely remember this, but I couldn't tell you what it was about. Obviously a sitcom of some kind. And at 5 to 9, the Two Ronnies. Fantastic stuff in a Christmas special. 9:55 was the main news, and at 10:05 was Wogan, and it was Terry Wogan hosting a special Christmas edition with Freddie Starr, Dame Kiri Kanawa. Hang on, Dame Kiri Takanawa. Did I say that right? Dame Kiri Takanawa. I remember her. Was she not like an opera singer? Also featured Elton John and Victoria Principal. Then at 5 to 11, it's all-time great movies, and this one is Some Like It Hot, starring Marilyn Monroe, Tony Curtis, and Jack Lemmon. And finally, at 10 to 1, we had the weather, and then we were done for the day. So the Christmas Top 10 at 1984 is as follows. So at number 10, we had Shout by Tears for Fears. Number 9 was Everything Must Change from Paul Young. Oh, controversial. At number 8, Another Rock and Roll Christmas by Gary Glitter. Now the question is it possible to separate the song from the individual? Because I have to say, I do love hearing this song at Christmas. And yes, he is a absolutely despicable character, but I think, in my opinion, it is okay to separate the song from the individual. Anyway, number 7, Ghostbusters by Ray Parker Jr. Number 6, The Power of Love by Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Power of Love is always an interesting title for me because there were 2 other Power of Loves. There was obviously Huey Lewis and another one by Jennifer somebody. The Power of Love by Frankie Goes to Hollywood is now regarded a Christmas song, but that's not really, I don't really agree with that, but whatever. Number 5, Like a Virgin by Madonna. I guess somewhat typical, Virgin and Virgin Mary and all that. Anyway, number 4, Nellie the Elephant by the Toy Dolls. Now this definitely rings a bell. I think this was like a punk version of the sort of children's song. Again, very much in the vein of the British novelty song Riding High in the pop charts. Anyway, number 3, We All Stand Together, which was Paul McCartney and the Frog Chorus. Boom, 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 something like that. Now, number 2, it's a double A-side from Wham, Last Christmas, coupled with Everything She Wants. Now, we'll get to number one in a second, and I think Wham must have been a little bit pissed off this year because they must have been so sure they were going to have the Christmas number one. But that was until Bob Geldof and Midge Ure got their heads together and gave us Do They Know It's Christmas from Band Aid, which I'm led to believe is probably still the biggest ever selling single. And I remember when that came out because this was all very much done, I think it was recorded and pressed in like a 24-hour period or something. And I just remember on the Sunday evening it coming onto the news telling us about this single and showed you all the stars of the day doing their parts for it. And I remember seeing Simon Le Bon thinking, oh my God, Duran Duran, I've got to get this. So I definitely got that single the week it came out. And if we're being honest, in terms of music, it's not that great a song, but it was for a good cause. And it thoroughly deserves its spot at number one, the Christmas number one in 1984. So the comics and magazines of Christmas 1984, starting with the Dandy, where the headline is Christmas Fun for Everyone Inside. And it was 14p this year. I think it was 14p last 85 as well, but don't quote me on that. Anyway, Desperate Dan on the cover as always, chopping down the biggest Christmas tree you've ever seen in typical Desperate Dan style. The Beano, simply called the Christmas Beano, and as always, Dennis the Menace and Gnasher on the cover. And this time, Gnasher is a bit bummed because his black coat is standing out against the white snow and all the cats can see him a mile off. So to counter that, Dennis covers Gnasher in talcum powder and the cats can't see him. There you go. Now, Christmas time for Smash Hits. This is a mixed bag. So the Christmas edition of Smash Hits is not very festive at all. The only reference to Christmas is in the top corner where you could win a Christmas party, whatever that means. On the cover, we had Strawberry Switchblade. And I got to be honest, I remember the name, but I don't remember these two chicks. If they are indeed chicks. The one on the left is not quite sure. Anyway, also in this issue, we have Nick Kershaw, Culture Club, Wham, Frankie, Annie Lennox, Slade, Thompson Twins, Bananarama, and of course Band Aid. All is not lost for Smash Hits because in 1984 they also did a free copy of a Christmas special that was given out at the Woolworth store. And this one featured Frankie Goes to Hollywood on the cover, and it makes mention of Duran Duran, Culture Club, Spandau Ballet, Howard Jones, Thompson Twins, Paul Young, so on and so forth. But from memory, I think this was more or less just one continuous advert for the different vinyls and cassettes you could buy at Woolworths that year. Not necessarily a magazine, but at least it did say Christmas on the cover, and it had the lads from Frankie Goes to Hollywood holding some weird candles. So those were the comics and magazines of Christmas 1984. What do frogs wear on their feet? Open-toed sandals. So anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope you had a bit of fun there. Special thanks to the Patreons. Please like, please subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos from all things 80s, and see you tomorrow where we look at Christmas 1983.